Good morning, everyone. Thanks for getting your day started with us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. We appreciate that. We have all those developing stories to get to this morning from Wallingford and New Britain. But first, we want to get you ready to head out the door. So we'll say hello to meteorologist Jill Gilardi for a check on that forecast. How are we doing out there, Jill? Still foggy?
A little fog in some areas. I mean, it's just like literally some of those little valley locations, not widespread. And we've been seeing some improvements since the sun has come up, that the fog is being burned off or eaten away at, basically. So you can see these little narrow little zones of some foggy conditions, and we're seeing areas of limited visibility out there to start in a few spots. And one of those areas where you can see the fog still present is in Middletown, but we can also see the sun, so it's working its magic, and it's going to continue to do so. On the visible satellite loop, you can sometimes make out these little areas of fog and see, try to pinpoint that little spot there, here or there. I mean, they're very narrow to make out, but nonetheless, we got sunshine on board today. The fog's going to be, you know, behind us before we know it, and temperatures a little lower than yesterday morning by a couple of degrees. It's in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. If you have plans to head out for brunch or lunch, so much better weather for today. Lunchtime, sitting somewhere outside sounds fantastic with 70s across the state. And then headed out later this afternoon, maybe going for a walk as we get towards the evening hours. If that's your free time of the day, it's going to be in the 80s inland and mid and upper 70s along the shoreline with lots of sunshine. So finally, really nice weather. And of course, there is rain for part of the forecast for Father's Day weekend. We'll get into those details coming up a little later, but let's get an update on traffic with Caitlin. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jill. Good morning, everyone. 7:02 here on your Wednesday. Jill saying that some of the fog is starting to burn off across the state, but it's not in others. So if you're heading out the door here along the shoreline, 95 north and southbound, right by the Route 9 connector here, unfortunately, we're still kind of dealing with that thick, dense fog as we are here along Route 72 in Plainville. Meriden starting to see a little bit more of that sun, but you can see that fog hanging around the tree line there. 691 east and westbound here in Middletown. A little bit of lifting, but still dealing with reduced visibility along Route 9 as well. In Hartford, looking nice. Beautiful start here. You'll need the sunglasses. You'll also need to tap the brakes because we're seeing some normal delays building through the area. Let's get you your drive times. About a 33-minute ride, 84 eastbound into Hartford. Not bad. We're approaching that 2-hour mark, though. 95 southbound, towards the George Washington Bridge. The Parkway also slowing down, but thankfully no crashes. That's a check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
And we're tracking some developing news right now in Wallingford. That's where you might have some issues if you're driving on one of the busiest roads in town because there was a water main break.
Yeah, Route 5, North Colony Road, very busy there. Your reporter, Marcy Jones, is there as crews work to fix it. And with a ton of businesses and homes in the area, she has more on the impact.
Crews have been out here for hours since overnight. Take a look behind me. Action is still happening behind here. We've got North Colony Road with an excavator and drills. Wallingford police say this all started around 5:30. They got calls about the road starting to buckle near Walmart. When they arrived, they quickly discovered this was a water main break and immediately called the state DOT and town officials to help assist. This small section of North Colony Road is interrupted. There are cones out and traffic is narrowed down to one lane for both directions. And officers out here manually directing the flow of traffic. And again, as this morning commute starts to pick up and we have a higher volume of cars going through here, it's just best to avoid this area. We have not been given a timeline yet, but as long as cars are kind of going through here, you might just want to take a side street or two to avoid this stretch that is currently very narrowed down. Your reporter in Wallingford, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
We're also staying on top of developing news in New Britain, where crews responded to an overnight car fire right near Stanley Street.
Now, police tell us no one was hurt. Your reporter, Roger Suzanne, has been tracking these developments for us, though, all morning and has the latest.
Good morning. Yeah, police are still blocking off the intersections here on Stanley Street where the situation is playing out, but the situation is evolving and growing in terms of the response from power crews. You can see multiple trucks are in the area. It appears that they may be working on either replacing or fixing a power pole that could be impacted by this situation. But I do want you to take a look at some video that we captured earlier this morning, and you can see that there was a car that apparently crashed inside St. Mary's Cemetery. Police tell us there was a car fire. Eventually, tow trucks arrived and flipped the car over and also eventually removed it from the cemetery. But we can also tell you that we actually witnessed 5 police cruisers who were posted up inside the cemetery investigating a pretty wide swath of the cemetery, not just where the crash was. Now, here's what you need to know if you drive through this area on your morning commute. Right now, Stanley Street remains closed where this investigation is playing out between Long Street and Kearney Street. As soon as we get information from police, we'll share it with you right away. Reporting in New Britain this morning, I'm your reporter, Roger Suzanin, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, right now, a man is in the hospital with serious injuries after police say he was hit by a car in Vernon last night. That crash happening around 8:30 near Hartford Turnpike and Grove Street. The driver did stay on the scene and is cooperating with police.
Today in New Britain, we are expecting to learn more about the arrest of 2 suspects accused of strangling a man to death last July and dumping his body in a stream near Hemingway and Eastern Streets. The suspects are being held in jail right now on murder charges.
This morning, an Ansonia man charged with driving under the influence after being caught on camera driving the wrong way on I-95 in Bridgeport.
Yeah, and it was all caught on dash cam video from police. So take a look at this. You can see the headlights there as he pulls, wow, in front of oncoming traffic to take an exit.
Police say no one was hurt, and officers eventually caught up with the driver and arrested him.
And this morning, leaders in Southington are trying to figure out why 4 car wash employees were taken into ICE custody. Advocates claim that the agents didn't identify themselves and did not have a warrant. Town officials say the police department was not involved and not notified of the arrests.
This morning, state lawmakers are getting ready to return to Hartford for a special summer session to revisit a housing bill. The proposal would require cities and towns to build a set number of units over 5 years. And supporters say more housing is key to growing the economy, while opponents argue it is government overreach.
This morning, the New Britain Common Council needs to make some adjustments to its budget plan after the mayor vetoed it last week. The mayor says the council's plan would have eliminated unionized positions, and that could put the city at risk for a lawsuit. Local advocates say the council's budget provided necessary investments in education and community services and are calling on the council to override the mayor's veto.
This morning, we're also learning more about police officers in Milford now cleared, and they will not face charges in the death of a man who died in custody. Body cam video shows police trying to take Michael Brown into custody for allegedly stealing from a grocery store. According to reports, Brown started having trouble breathing and was taken to a hospital where he died. The investigation determined he went into cardiac arrest due to underlying health issues.
Happening today, police in Hamden are launching a new effort to build relationships with you and your kids. They're starting a new police league, which can offer sports, educational programs, and just more for the kids in the city. If you would like to learn more, they will be answering your questions at the Thornton Wilder Hall starting tonight at 6 o'clock.
Also happening today, leaders from East Hampton want school leaders to give their opinions on a proposal to cut the school's budget. The cuts could cause the schools to, of course, cut teachers and also cancel sports and for middle school students. Some of you speaking out now against those cuts, arguing that your children's education should be the top priority. Opponents argue the money should not come from your tax dollars. The next meeting is on June 23rd.
And right now, the Willimantic Police Department is encouraging people to register for the Bring Me Back Home program. The confidential registry is designed to help police quickly find people with dementia, autism, or other conditions that may cause them to wander. If you're interested, you can sign up online or you can visit the police headquarters.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're still tracking a few narrow areas of limited visibility due to fog, but we're starting to see a lot of those reporting sites see increasing amounts of visibility, but still some foggy spots out there this morning that might slow you down. Certainly, we are seeing that fog very low towards the ground where it lives usually, but the sun right above it. So working its magic right now in Torrington, and the sunshine is going to warm it up into the upper 70s in Torrington. For example, today we're going to get into the 80s in Hartford. Visibility dramatically improving there. Also seeing just a little bit of fog left over in New Haven with highs near 80 degrees. So yeah, the fog is burning off today, tomorrow comfortably warm, and another not dry weekend. Unfortunately, we had to add some of those shower icons to even Father's Day. More of that coming up in about 5 minutes. Caitlin?